What's up, everybody? And today we're checking out the US Army's new Mk18, the compact SIG spear assaulter K. This is by the legendary Grand Thumb. We've watched a few of his videos now, and we've kind of covered the timeline of this new SIG implement in the US Army, right? We watched the original one he did. We've watched his video on the changing of the caliber. And my biggest qualm about the original video when they first brought in the new SIG rifle in the US Army was the ammunition change from NATO rounds and the size of it is being really long. And so we've already covered the ammunition one, and we're going to watch his new video. It came out 3 weeks ago. It's a long video. It's 30 minutes. It's practically 30 minutes. Sit down, make yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, relax, chill out. It's going to be a long video. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to relax. We're going to have some fun. We're going to learn about this new Spear Assaulter K, which by looks of it is kind of like a CQB version of the SIG Spear. And this is what I have been hoping that they do. Okay? So, yeah, obviously, watching the video, if you want to watch it without me waffling on the top, if you want to go over to Grand Thumb's videos, link down below in the description. It's always there, first thing in the description. If you are not subscribed to Grand Thumb yet, I don't know what you're doing. I honestly don't know what you're doing. Please go over to his channel. Give it the love that it deserves. It's an absolutely fantastic channel. He's a fantastic content creator, and his footage and his understanding of these weapons is absolutely fantastic. So if you're not already, please go over to his channel. I don't think I've got anything else to say. Links down below to all the equipment I use. They're all affiliate links. Help support the channel. Other than that, let's shut up. Let's pull this up and let's learn about this cheeky short SIG spear. Boom. I've lost. Oh, it's talking now anyway. Yeah, the front part of the weapon's very thin, isn't it, on the SR 15 and 16? Which I can watch his video on the 15 at some point. Maybe not for a while. I don't want to overload with his content, but it always looks just a bit chunkier, doesn't it? This rifle.
Look at future military tech, and boy, do we have a treat for you right here. We have the SIG Spear, the new rifle of the United States Army. However, as you can tell, this bad boy is short. It was shortened from 13 to 9 inches. This is a special...
From 13 to 9? Wow, that's a big difference right there.
Operations capable weapon, or for whatever the Army chooses to use it for. Today, we're going to be chronographing. We're going to be ballistic testing. We're going to be testing recoil. We're going to compare it to current SOCOM-issued weapons. And there is a lot of fun data and a lot of good learning points to learn. Today on Grand Thumb, we're looking at probably the sickest rifle that... it just looks cool, right, Micah?
Yeah, I like its stubbiness.
It's just...
Do you know what? He's already bigging this up. I think this is going to be one of his favorites. I really do. I think he's going to be very happy with this implementation in the US Army.
It's very aesthetically pleasing. It pleases my monkey brain. So today on Grand Thumb, we are taking a look at the Shorty SIG M7. But
it is a very nice looking rifle.
I thank the biggest sponsor of the channel, who is the, no Charlie, Sonoran Desert Institute. If you're looking to get your Army. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, talk is cheap and ammo is...
Provided by SIG.
Yeah, provided by SIG. Thank you.
He's got an American and a Canadian badge on him there. Is there any reason for that? Is he like half Canadian, or like why does he have that? I'm pretty sure people are saying that he's in Idaho or Ohio. Is he in Ohio? I think he's in Ohio. Someone said something like that. Is it? Someone will tell me in the comments.
Hey, SIG. You're welcome. They didn't pay us, by the way. They did bring this weapon out for us, but no payment or anything like that. Other than the fact that we get to shoot it, which is cool. Is that payment, Micah? Maybe the real shilling was the friends we made along the way. From the M16 to the M4, and from the SIG Spear down to the shorty SIG Spear, typically within militaries, you will have...
Is that just the nickname they're going to start calling it, the shorter SIG Spear? Because if so, I like that. I think that's great. I mean, we did it in the Royal Marines, right? We had the GPMG, we had the Mini-Me and all that lot, right? You kind of adopt terms to certain rifles. I like that they call it the shorter.
A short variant of a service rifle made. The reason for this is it's more maneuverable. It's easier to take on helicopters or take it into crewed vehicles. It's easier to do special operations stuff with it. So This is nothing new, the fact that SIG decided to make a short variant, but they had to do a lot of weird things to do it. But with all that being said, the SIG Spear fires the 277 Fury, which is the round that these are all chambered in, at about 3,060 feet per second to 3,100 feet per second. So what we're going to do with this guy, being that it's 9 inches instead of 13.
The more I hear about this new caliber, the more I like it. And it makes me kind of worried that the Royal Marines have just got a new weapon and they're stuck to 5.56. Which if you're getting a new weapon, it means you're going to stick with it for at least another 10 years or so. And the rifle that the Royal Marines are getting is a very, very good rifle, so it could even be longer than that. And so for them to be in 5.56 when the US has already adopted something new makes me just a little bit concerned about that.
And we're going to see what the velocity is.
And I'm saying concerned on the Royal Marine side, not on the US
SIG's
side.
actually never chronoed this, so I'm really interested.
I kind of saw that coming. That thing is so concussive.
These Garmin things are awesome, but we got 2736. I'm going to try to hold it, like, in place. Yeah, 2748.
Nice.
Oh, pretty close. About a standard deviation of 6 feet per second. Let's try that one more time.
I've seen them use them little gadgets quite a bit now. They seem to be really, really good, don't they? I wonder how much they are.
Look at that, 2,737. We have to point out that I have a projectile that's 113 grains, traveling about 27.5 feet per second. That's freaking fast.
Yeah.
So when we take a look at like our URGIs, the shorty variants like the 11.5s and the 10.3s, those are typically launching your 5.56 closer to 25 to 26, and those are typically, 55 grain. So we have a very fast, very heavy round, and you certainly feel it in recoil. So let's go ahead and let's show you what the recoil differences look like between the URGI and the Spear shorty. Micah, it's going to be me versus you. Micah, how would you describe the concussive force of this guy?
Having to film it, it's so violent.
Wait, what did he say that they're comparing these two here? What weapons did he say you're comparing it to?
Typically, 55 grain. So we have a very fast, very heavy round, and you certainly feel it in recoil. So let's go ahead and let's show you what the recoil differences look like between the URGI and the Spear shorty.
URGI?
Micah, it's going to be me versus you. Micah, how would you
What's a URGI?
describe the concussive force of this guy?
Having to film it, it's so violent, so ridiculous. You could feel it in your soul.
So we have the suppressor that typically goes on the Spear right here. So we've attached it to the shorty. So we have the URGI, which
So the
is...
suppressor can attach to the shorty as well? Like, I'd be rocking that 24/7 if I was in the military more than the other one.
current SOCOM issue. So we'll go ahead and compare
Oh,
length.
okay. Current
They're
shot
fairly
SOCOM
similar.
issue.
Longer.
No, mine's a little longer.
Oh, yours is longer?
Yeah, mine's longer. Yeah, it's okay. And that makes sense. We have a longer receiver to accommodate a larger round. Now, that being said, this guy right here has an 11.5-inch barrel, and still we're getting similar velocities between these two. However, this guy is firing a 113 grain projectile, while this is firing a 55 to 62 grain. So there's a difference. We're going to go ahead. We're going to try out the recoil differences between the two. Yeah, stand by. Up.
5, you're SIG is disqualified.
SIG is disqualified on this one.
Dude ready,
Yeah.
stand by. Up. You can go a lot faster.
I can.
Isn't the point to kind of like show the recoil as fast as you can pull
I was
the trigger?
doing a build drill.
This
Okay.
is like, yeah,
You're gonna
I can
beat
do
me.
that too.
You can beat me. Go
Okay.
ahead. Up.
Oh,
But I mean, to be fair, I've shot like 1,000 rounds on this.
Just today.
You've shot 7.
7.
Next up, we have the URGI 11.5.
It's 5.56, isn't it?
Up.
Oh my god, the difference in recoil. Do you know what? I bet he can feel it like crazy as well, the difference. Going from the bigger caliber to this one, oh my god.
Even the sound. Okay. Yeah, clean.
Okay. 5.56 has no recoil. It feels like a toy.
It feels and sounds like a toy.
Stand by. Up.
Dude. It actually feels like a gas-powered airsoft gun. Like going from that to this is just it.
Okay, obviously there's a lot more power when it comes to the shorty spear. So it's always a question of how much recoil can you handle and what can you control. I mean, I'm going to say it that the URGI is such a refined system at this point. It's hard to kind of compare the two.
Yeah. I don't know if every shooter is capable of shooting that. I'm going to be.
He's not wrong there. So when we were using the marksman rifle, the L129 or whatever it's called, when I was using that and I was training on that, because it was 7.62, like it was a relatively like beefy rifle to shoot. Like going from an SA-80, which is a bullpup 5.56, to the marksman rifle was like massive, like really big, especially because there was a lot more weight on the front and all that lot. And although this isn't going from a bullpup to a traditional, I think that the caliber change is definitely really, really big. At the same time, the people who are going to be using this will have shot 7.62 before. And although this is a different caliber than 7.62, right? I feel like there's going to be more of a comparison between them two than there is 5.56. So I think that people will be able to shoot it in the military. The people who need to shoot it will be shooting it. It's just whether civilians will be able to do this if they're just regular shooters, if they're using regular 5.56.
Completely honest.
It definitely has its place. It's a very powerful round coming out, but you definitely get the recoil with it.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and let's run it auto.
Jeez.
We're now going to run full auto on both guns.
Holy.
Now, to be clear, the Spear has 20 round mag versus the URGI, which has a 30.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, that was pretty good.
It was all right. It was good. No, that was good.
9 out, 11 in.
I'd be lying if I said that my vision the whole time was kind of just like zzz, like I didn't see much.
I feel you. Well, we can let's put a new target up.
On you.
Holy.
4, 5 out, 15 in. I'll take it. Yeah, that was it took
I'd
me
say
till-
pretty similar dispersion.
Yeah,
for the
pretty
most
similar
part. Yeah, I guess now we do that.
Yeah.
Is it me or does it sound slower, the automatic, as well? It sounds a little bit slower, doesn't it? Maybe it's just because it's a smaller round.
That was very, very easy to control. All right, Micah, you're up.
All right, on you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I kind of let it go there at the end. I could feel it do the upside down McDonald's logo.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
Yeah,
Classic.
pretty much.
Okay. So obviously
The
URGI
upside down
has-
McDonald's logo, does it mean a W? Just say a W.
way less recoil. I'm a little bit biased, of course, because I did carry URGI at the very end of my career, and I loved it. It's a very light recoil. It's a very capable weapon. With a 14.5 URGI, you can reach out to about 500-600, and with the 11.5, easily out to 400-500.
That's
Obviously,
really cool.
the Spear Shorty is going to give me more capability in terms of armor penetration, in terms of dealing with foes who might have armor or reaching further than this guy right here. However, it's really hard to make that switch because this guy is just so light recoiling.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, we can't predict what foes will be going up against or what we'll need. So I can...
Yeah, like he's right. You can't predict who they're gonna go. You're not going up in the Middle East anymore. Like that's not a thing anymore, or not as much. Like the worry now is China and Russia, right? They're the biggest worries right now, especially with Russia invading Ukraine and. Like, does it get worse? Do they invade NATO? And then all of a sudden the US, the UK, and everyone else is involved. And then you're fighting against people who have actually got pretty, decent body armor on. That might be why they're changing the caliber. They may be able to just be able to see the future a little bit and be like, look, if China kicks off, and they start going places they're not supposed to go, and we've got to go and help out, they're going to have better equipment than going up against ISIS Taliban. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is. And so... might be a solid shout going with that extra caliber, but with a bigger caliber comes some negatives, bigger weight, all that lot.
See the need for not specialty, but for possibly a more powerful round to defeat certain types of armor.
Yeah.
But certainly the lover of the URGI in me finds it hard to make that transition. So we talked a lot about that. Let's go ahead and let's see what happens when we shoot it through gel. Right here we have clear ballistic gelatin. Now, if you've seen our other video, we'll put up a little video right here. We previously tested the 277.
they never put up the video. He's done that a few times with that. We'll put up the video right here. Doesn't go up anywhere.
Performance going approximately 3,100 feet per second. But what about 27? Let's find out right now. Yep. So we probably got the tail end as it began to tumble and fragment. You can see how nice that looks right there as that projectile is opening up. And that's actually quite a bit of penetration before it begins to tumble.
It is, isn't it?
Which means that ability of the round to travel through both.
Where did they get this gel from? Where did they get that?
Cover, clothing, wood, what have you, and to get into the body and then to do the damage is exactly what we want. So,
is that the same ammo that we tested the other day?
It is.
So, I mean, obviously the 13.7 had a bigger cavity.
Obviously, being a 13.1 on the normal spear, that's going to do more damage. However, you can see the performance of the 9-inch is still pretty freaking good. Certainly better than what you'd see from like a 5.
I mean, the traditional SIG spear, the one that they're getting in the military, well, I mean, they're getting them both, aren't they? But the longer one, the big boy, it is a big rifle, isn't it? Like, it's a big rifle. I get it. If you're battling it out and you're not in an urban place, right? Take it. You've got that range, right? You got the range. You've got the ability to be able to use something with that length on it. But man, any other situation where you're in vehicles or you're doing CQB, maybe even in a woodland to some extent, I don't know. Like, it just seems like the shot is a no-brainer.
5.56, obviously, but I'm happy to know that it performs well. We've done a lot of testing on this. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this variant. Now, this video is sponsored by Barbell Apparel. We love them for a variety of reasons.
All right, I'm gonna just quickly get through that, guys.
You do Barbell Apparel. Go check out the link right below. Love you guys. Let's get back to the video. So we've done a lot of shooting. Now we're finally going to get into my favorite portion, which is talking. Rather than doing it on a black screen, we're doing it on the Windows XP screensaver. So it's always really fun to be able to take a hard look at a prototype that could possibly be picked up in the United States military. This is one of my favorite things I could possibly do on this channel. This is a very interesting concept. So what we're going to do right here to start off with is we're going to show you a size comparison between these two, and I'm going to collapse.
Oh, so this is the regular size one, and he's got silencers off. Different muzzle by the looks of it, which is interesting.
His buttstock a little bit to get it roughly lined up. So as you can see here, we have the spear without the suppressor, and then we have the shorty spear. We have them side by side right here.
That's a big difference.
And it might not seem like there's that much of a difference, but 4 inches really does make all the difference in everything. So it's actually...
That's going to piss some people off.
What, 4 inches?
4 inches?
Oh, yeah, well, especially Charlie.
Yeah.
And the ranch hand.
Exactly.
But it's far more maneuverable, taking off a little bit of that. Think about going from the M16 to the M4. That was a 20 to a 16. That was also to a 14.5. That was a huge...
Yeah. It does make a big difference. It really does.
Amount more of maneuverability that you had. Now, there's a lot of very interesting facts about how this was designed, why it was designed, a lot of the thought processes behind it. But suffice to say, we have a short-barreled rifle that is pushing a 113 grain at the moment projectile, approximately 2,700 and about 40 feet per second. That's incredible. That's an incredible amount of devastation in a small package, as we can see right here. But nobody can explain it better than our favorite person from SIG, St. John. Come on, St. John.
So this is actually a guy from SIG? That's actually really impressive that he's been able to do this. If it actually is, I don't know, maybe it's a joke or something, but...
Come on, let's go. You knew I was like building you up. Oh my God.
Do you know what? It's been irritating me, the fact that he's not got his chin strap on this whole time. And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to critique him because he knows his stuff. Oh my God, if you get caught with your chin strap off in the Marines, ooh, you get your ass handed to you. There you go.
We're not in the military anymore. We can
barely concentrate.
We're retired. We don't have to.
Retired.
Retired.
thought that word was potentially off limits. But
St. John, thank you so much for coming. Do you want to explain? Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Of course. Do you want to explain a little bit about who you are and why they should
Brilliant
listen to you?
mustache.
Really, I'm no one, but I'm the mouthpiece of everyone's hard work at SIG, and that's kind of a true story. So I work at the Defense Strategies Group, which is kind of the sales side of the product management team, the weapons development team, the special weapons team.
Aren't you guys pretty much like the skunk works of SIG?
Yeah, I mean, like the special weapons group and the product management team is. Again,
Fair enough.
I'm the guy that talks about it, right? So I'm very fortunate.
So he is the mouthpiece, which is actually really, really cool.
And you have a little bit of military experience.
Yeah, I did 22 years in the Army, 15 years in Ranger Regiment, and 7 years as a competitive shooter for the Army. So, whatever that's worth.
Can you tell me a little bit about the shorty
That's some good experience right there.
spear that we have right here? I know we've talked about it quite a bit. We have to hold it up so our lovely audience can see it.
Okay. So distracts away from this disaster a little bit.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
right?
Well,
That's
me
what I think
too.
we
I
need
don't
to-
look very good. I'm getting old.
Yeah, so you are.
I know.
It's kind of a unique thing, right? So if I really kind of go back in the lineage of the spear itself, and maybe that's quite interesting, the spear was actually born as a submission rifle for the Army CSAS, which was a 16-inch Accurai sniper rifle program.
Wow, okay.
Back in, I believe, probably 2016.
This is really cool. Like, I really wish we got this information in the first SIG Spear video. This guy is obviously, he knows everything about this rifle. This is absolutely fantastic that he's got him on the channel.
We're unsuccessful in that. We shelved the rifle itself. The shorty version was actually developed prior to the next-gen version because we were looking for an outlet for all of that developmental effort. And so we developed a 9-inch PDW style, and we called it the MR at the time for medium rifle. And then the Army also had a medium rifle program, etc. So next gen came around. We were like, hey, we've got the foundation for it. You know, one of the cute things about that aspect is the side charging that was born because it was originally a sniper rifle to be laid down in the prone position so that you could charge it while in the prone. There's no weight error to that, so we kept that feature on there. Just
That was my first thing I said to you guys. I'm like, why not get rid of it for weight? And you're like, it's actually a net zero change.
Yeah, because you have to hog out the receiver in order to get the.
Well, I mean, I love the FAL, so keep it.
So, anyways,
That's
I
really
enjoy
cool.
it for a lot of aspects as well. But
I feel like I don't really want to pause it too much to speak over it, but his knowledge on the history on how this is made is absolutely brilliant. I am such a fan of them little intricacies more than anything. So it's really nice to hear it firsthand like this, but I'm not going to pause it too much because I want to respect this guy and let him talk.
Anyway, so the shorty was actually born from there prior to the NGSW. It was shelved. The NGSW was born of that CSAS MR project into the NGSW rifle, into the spear. But when you look at why we're coming back with kind of going back into that direction, right, a 7.62, 6.8 type PDW weapon system, realistically, the Army has an initiative where they're looking to take weight out of the guns. If you think of the M4, M16 program all the way to the M4, it was a continuous and constant evolution throughout the entirety of the procurement through the fielding of that weapon system for, 40, 50 years, and there was always improvements being made. And one of the initiatives they have is obviously always trying to lightening soldier load.
That's a weird word.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. To make it a little bit lighter and easier on the soldier to carry it. How's that?
Of course, yeah.
So, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we highlight its capability. And then coming from the special operations community, you can obviously understand why, you look at the gun and it's kind of easy to fall in love with, right?
Sure.
It is a really good looking gun. I am a bit worried about the weight. I'm going to have to Google the weight difference between this and stuff that I'm used to, like an SA-80, or maybe even compare it to the M4 or something like that would be an easy comparison considering that's what it's replacing. So yeah, I feel like I'd like to know more about the weight more than anything else.
It really is.
It looks hot.
It looks really good.
I think, Micah, you asked me last night, I think at dinner, you're like, what's your favorite gun at Sig Sauer? And it was the MR,
SIG 553.
which is the, it's yours. Yeah. But it was the shorty. It was the M7 shorty, which was the MR because it was just kind of a prototype weapon system, and I'm a firm believer in it. But then when you take the short barrel and you think, man, you're sacrificing some ballistic aspects of what a round can do, taking that barrel length out of it. You need to put it with our hybrid ammo, the 6.8x51, or any of the hybrid ammos, and all of a sudden, like you said, you're getting 2,750 feet per second out of a 9-inch barrel with a 113 grain projectile.
Wild.
They've really packed a punch with this, haven't they?
It's wildly amazing, wildly effective. So, I mean, that's really kind of the initiative, is to give you a smaller, lighter, easier handling, CQB oriented. You think of the difference between, going from a 10.3 to a 14.5 with a surefire suppressor back in the day.
4 inches.
It was an incredibly manageable and wonderful weapon system, right? Like the 10.3 or 11.5 compared to the 14.5 was everything.
You know, luckily for me, I didn't have to deal with that type of thing. The SA-80 is a relatively small rifle. Because it's a bullpup, it's pretty small and stubby. And so we were pretty lucky in that sense. But yeah, like if I was walking around with the L129, right, the Marksman rifle, like it's a long rifle.
Especially running around rooms, right? It was everything for that.
Agreed. And so kind of getting into this weapon right here, St. John, I think what's most interesting about it is the gas system, because it is fairly different from what we see on the Spear. Would you like to speak to that?
It really uses our Rattler technology and our gas trap at the end of the barrel that you'll see on the Rattler. And what that does is it actually catches the gas after the bullet leaves the chamber, compared to, compared to like a gas impingement system or normal short stroke pistons or short stroke gas piston system where you have the gas hole. Another tough word to say in public.
Yeah, gas hole.
You have a gas hole, obviously drilled into the bore of the rifle, and you gather the gas as the bullet passes under pressure. This gathers the gas after it leaves the muzzle, or after it leaves the crown of the barrel in a gas expansion chamber, which then captures the gas and drives the piston.
The technology in this stuff, mental, isn't it? Like the amount of work they've put into this to learn, all these different methods of the weapon being used. The brains in this is crazy, isn't it?
It gives you kind of some durability. When you start talking short barrel rifles, there's a lot of erosive aspects, a lot of pressure, a lot of heat. If you put the gas hole in there, what ends up happening is it erodes early, gets blown out. And your barrel
you can't take it serious when he says that.
I know.
And a blown out gas hole.
I know there's another word for it. I just can't think of it right now, but I'm positive there is a better word for that. But in any case, if you guys aren't aware, like on a 10.3 Mark 18 11.5, as you're firing these full auto, that gas port will begin to erode towards the muzzle. This is standard wear when it comes to like an AR-15 or any short-barreled rifle, and it gets brutal to the point where the weapon will become inserviceable or unserviceable. What's the difference? In any case, the gas trap will help alleviate that problem.
It does, correct. Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, we're firing very high-pressure ammo, and we have a 9-inch barrel. What is our typical barrel life that we're seeing right here?
Fortunately, the same as the XM7, we're north of 10,000 rounds.
So
That's
this might
good.
seem like a psychotically low number, but even on your GIs, firing M855 Alpha 1, which is the high-pressure 5.56 round right now, you're seeing about 10K before barrels are shot out. So this is actually kind of turning out to be a standard with EPMs, which are those enhanced performance rounds that we're seeing, and those higher pressures. So this is pretty standard.
Well, and then, you think about it you really think about it from a capability perspective with the 10,000 rounds. You're shooting a short magnum performance type of a caliber, which is going to have more pressure, more heat, more erosive aspects of it. So, we overcome that with some proprietary barrel coatings and materials and things like that to help
That's really
with
cool.
that barrel life.
SIG, witchcraft.
Yeah, I think.
Fair enough. Now, moving back from here, when it comes to the rail, the big talk, I'm just going to...
God, he's really getting into everything, isn't it? This is brilliant.
I'm of course going to bring it up. But everyone's talked about barrel deflection and rail deflection, about that being a potential issue. Is there anything that you could speak to about that?
You son of a bitch.
Dude, I'm going to do it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I like that he's hitting with the questions that people are asking about this rifle. I think that's really important. I think that's why a lot of people like his channel, because he's honest and he wants to genuinely get to the bottom of this stuff. Like, if there's an issue with the rifle, he's going to talk about it, right? And so, yeah, if people are asking about this, why not ask it to the actual people who've got answers?
To be frank, I'm not going to try to tiptoe around it. We had some issues when the LT was first released with the torquing of the barrel clamp, I believe. I'll probably get beat up on that back home because I think that's the reason. And then we did some redesign on the handguard itself to get rid of that flex. And then if you look at the screws we have that anchor the handguard into the upper receiver, we made them more robust in order to give it a little bit more torque pressure on there to hold that in position.
Okay, so
that's my best job as the sales guy. I told you I'm the mouthpiece, not the actual science guy. But
that's for sure.
I think that's pretty much the right answer.
I mean, we got to bring it up because it's kind of been something that people have had questions about, and I'm sure they'll continue to have questions about, especially as we continue to develop this rifle out. Now, moving back from here, I want to talk about this magazine. Can you talk about this? Obviously, not specifically for this weapon, but can you speak to it?
So one of the things that we did through Next Gen, as you know, Next Gen was a program that was a prototype.
And I say big, it's not long, is it? But it's very wide, the mag, to help with the caliber of the round. I'd love to know the stats on how much of a difference in the amount of rounds someone can carry compared to 5.56 on the ground. Like if your boots on the ground, right? Let's say you've got, I don't know, let's say 120 rounds of 5.56 on you, right? Or let's just say 100 rounds of 5.56 just to make it easier. How many does that compare? Is that like you're looking at like 80 of these rounds instead? Like with a 20% dip there? Are you looking at 75, which is, 25% dip? Like I'd like to know what the unfortunate, because that at the end of the day, like people think that it doesn't matter. It does matter. It really does. Like if you're on the ground, if your boots on the ground and you've got heavier ammo, you're carrying less of it. And so what is that trade-off? And how many rounds is that trade-off? And a lot of people might be like, look, that trade-off's worth it. And that's fine. If you think the trade-off's worth it for a better caliber over 5.56, that's totally fine. Like, I probably would agree with you if I shot it and I understood it more. But I think it's something that people should be aware of, right? If you're going to be carrying, upwards of 100 rounds of 5.56, how does that translate to this new caliber? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Program that had basically two phases before selection. Two phases before selection, two prototype phases. Then once selection was made, we went into a third prototype phase. And what we realized is we could increase our reliability if we designed our own magazine. And we also added a cant, a 2-degree cant into our lower receiver to bring that feeding up, that angle of the ammunition feeding up into the chamber a little bit better.
Interesting.
So that improvement was made between phase 2 and phase 3. Okay. And by incorporating both of those, the MRBS on this rifle through the Army testing, not, 6
Can you explain
MRBS.
MBRS?
Yeah, mean round between stoppages.
MRBS.
Yep, MRBS. So mean round between stoppages. Yep. So basically, how many rounds you fire between malfunctions.
Right.
And by the Army test, I think they tested 5 guns, 20,000 rounds. Our MRBS was 10,000. So one malfunction every 10,000 rounds across 5 guns.
One malfunction every time barrel shot out.
Yeah, of course you got to maintain it. You got to wipe it down. You got to oil. You got to lube it.
Sure, it's
all
not
those types of
self-cleaning?
things. No.
So moving down, are we seeing any other changes when it comes to the Shorty M7 compared to the regular M7 rifle that we have right here?
No.
That's a lot of rounds between stoppages, isn't it? Like, what stoppages is he talking about? Just mag stoppages, then? Because that's quite a difference, that, isn't it?
Otherwise, it's going to be the same thing.
Be the same thing. I mean, realistically, if you look at the shorter handguard, the shorter barrel, just like any other MCX, you take the handguard off, loosen the clamp, swap them out, put a new handguard on, and now you're into the Shorty.
That's really cool.
Really easy.
Pretty easy.
It's a very simple swap.
That's really cool.
If you guys aren't familiar already with the spear here, or the Shorty spear, you have of course, larger bolt compared to your AR-15. So we have an AR-15 for comparison right here, so you can see those two. Obviously, it's going to be larger. We have a 6.8 by 51, which is the correct metric designation for it, right? Which is 277 Fury. We have forward assist. Anybody argued about that yet?
Nope.
Good. Yeah, I like them.
Actually, there is no forward assist on the XM7, so there is an argument about the forward assist.
Dang. Eugene Stoner. He
So
was
that
right.
so that is the lightning aspect of it, right? To take that
Okay.
weight out of there unnecessarily.
Interesting.
And if you listen to Stoner's quotes, right, as he said.
Yeah, 100% he did. We have bolt release. We have magazine release.
So there is core differences between the two then that are not just the barrel size, and there are other tweaks as well, which is pretty interesting.
Obviously, it's going to be ambidextrous, and my favorite part actually is that the SIGs have a really, really nice trigger. I've been very impressed with them. Sophie, you want to do the trigger pull?
No, I think you do it very well because I can't do it quite nearly as great as you can.
So feeling into the trigger pull right here, we have like a 2 millimeters of travel. We hit a wall, great let off. So we have that nice 2-stage trigger right there from the reset, maybe about a millimeter straight. That's like a 3-pound, 4-pound trigger, like it feels like a Geisley SSAE.
It's our Matchlight Duo. I don't know the trigger pull weight on it.
Now let's feel the auto. Auto has no play into it. And then off the reset, there's no reset because we have QD slots at the back for mounting slings, and then our takedown pins.
It's such a nice looking rifle, isn't it? It is such a nice looking rifle. And I really, really like the new Royal Marine rifle, the SR-16. Oh, it's not the SR-16, it's the KC-1. Is it KS-1? KC-1, something like that. I really like the look of that rifle. It might be my new favorite rifle. But But this is just a nice looking rifle, isn't it? And again, I've spoke about it with the other rifles as well. This new kind of like light brown matte look to them. I'm all about it.
Very AR-esque. And probably my biggest complaint about the spear is that you didn't use a BCM buttstock.
I forgot my tablet and pen for Mike's complaints.
Yeah, can you take that up with corporate?
Yeah,
Can you let them know? Doesn't it look better though? Go on, hold up that one.
Yeah, I'm not making no comments about aesthetics.
Hold
Okay.
it up. Hold it up.
Okay. You let you and your viewers say which one looks better.
This is for the U.S. Army. Tell me which looks better.
All right, let's have a look here. I prefer the shorty. I really do prefer the shorty in many different ways. I do think the butt looks a bit better. Actually, no, I think I prefer the butt on the longer one. I think I do. But the rifle as a whole, I think aesthetically the longer rifle looks better, but I think for what it's worth, like for what you're getting with it, I think the short is just a phenomenal bit of kit. I really do. And I'm going to be so interested to see what people do with them, like modifying and stuff like that. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. Are they on the market now for public? Can you buy this as a civvy in the US? Is that a thing now? Or has he only got these because he's there? I'd love to know that.
Micah? Dude, come on.
Hey, real talk.
Yo.
I like chunky guns, small stock.
Dude, you have the worst taste in guns anyhow. Okay, point
The
is...
nice thing about it is it's just an AR-style buttstock that can be changed by the user.
Sure,
Right?
easily changeable. Talking a little bit to our setup right here, we have just like a classic setup you'd see in SOCOM. Light with an N-Gall with a Comp M5S on a spur mount that's very sturdy, very stable, has all the capabilities that you'd want. I like this setup quite a bit. I'm going to be honest though, I do find the recoil fairly stout. The recoil on the M7, very manageable. I would say that this is getting quite a bit more stout comparatively to the M7. So that's going to be my biggest complaint about it. But I like the firepower that we're getting from it. I like the reliability.
Again, is that trade-off worth it? I think it is. I think if you're going for a shorter rifle, you're shooting at closer distances anyway, right? Like, you're not going to be shooting at the distance that the regular rifle is. And so with it having a little bit more recoil, it's not as bad. I mean, I say that. They're going from 5.56 where there's barely any recoil, right? And so, yeah, there is definitely a difference there. But, like, I feel like if you're rushing into a room, right, you've got a bigger space to hit closer up than if you're at, like, 500 meters away, 500 feet away. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit easier to get the rounds off and be a bit messier with it, but still, I think the recoil is definitely something that they should be keeping an eye on and making sure that lads are getting the practice in to get it squared away.
I like the way it feels. I like the way it looks. I like everything else about it. It's just certainly going to be like, I guess, more training to get as proficient as you could with, another weapon system.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would say is, what do you expect from a 7.5-pound 308 rifle?
Yeah.
with a
fair.
9-inch barrel, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's fair. There's always going to be take and give.
And your trade space for that little bit more training time is, like you were talking about, is ballistic performance, right?
100%, yeah. And especially having the rounds that can penetrate armor and stuff out of this short of a package will be pretty incredible. That's some great performance.
It's an amazing gun.
Yeah, that's some great performance. I'm really interested to see further development, what gets picked up. Given that the M7's already adopted, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a short variant being used quite heavily within different forces. So
yeah, I would hope so.
that is very cool.
Cool,
Well, thank you
Mick.
for bringing this out, St. John. I can't.
Do you know what? This little bit at the end here, well, I mean, little bit, it's like half the video he's had him on. I thought that was more valuable than any of the other bits of videos he's done so far. Absolutely fantastic that he's managed to get this guy on.
And thank you enough for bringing all these toys out for us to play with. And you rock, man. Thank you.
All right, perfect.
And then I like your mustache.
I was gonna say your mustache.
Yeah, your mustache looks good. Did you wax it before you came on?
Waxed on and waxed off.
Did he? Did he wax it?
What, before I came on right now? No, this is all day.
You
man.
want to know the biggest problem with having St. John on?
What?
Is the comments never are a discussion about the gun. It's just about it.
It's
I know.
actually, no, it's died down. I would actually like. I would like to challenge the viewers to humor me with their most, egregious rip
Mustache?
aparts of
Yeah.
my face. I mean, it never gets old.
You're a handsome guy. I don't know. what to tell
God, it's a burden.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
you're married.
burden.
You're taken.
Oh yeah, and that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so stay away.
100%. Stay away, ladies.
All right, guys.
I'll put my phone number in the comments just to let you know to stay away, ladies.
Yeah, I would highly recommend against that. It's only men in the comments, by the way. And they all live in their parents' basement. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you guys. This is Possible Future Military Tech, our favorite thing to do. And of course, we have to put a shout out to what, Micah? The Sling.
Sling.
Onward
dude.
Research. And
Check
of
it
course,
out.
coming soon, which you guys should pick up, by the way, our placard.
Yeah, actually, I really have been taking a look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, we made it ourselves and fits all the spear mags.
No, it looks good. It's good. Low
6
profile.
mags.
I agree.
Getting
6 mags is a lot of mags. That's pretty sick.
plus up. Is Sig gonna buy it?
Let's talk.
There we have it. Just kidding. There's no exchange of money. Okay, guys.
Shill.
Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Train, no matter what, whatever gun you have, train with it. And then, as always, guys, we've got nothing else for you except for dad advice with
So
St.
I know this
John.
was coming.
Yeah,
Dad
I know,
advice.
you are-
Here we go for all the dads out there, myself included. A bit of dad advice here.
And I have a couple, but I thought
like
it was
I
more
said, our
important.
ranch hand needs a father figure.
I'm going to give you a bit of dad advice at the end as well.
You know, it's good advice for him at his age. I actually got this from my grandmother, as if grandmother advice to
Okay,
her
yeah,
grandson.
grandmother
is
advice, that's a
is
first.
advised.
Yeah.
So my grandmother told me, with your money, be very frugal, obviously, right? But she said there's 3 things that you don't skimp on, and she called them the 3 T's.
Okay.
She said, if you scrimp on these things, you'll get what you paid for. Taxidermy, tattoos, and titties. And I said, Grandma, that's the best life advice I could ever have, and I'll pay full price for all 3. Just saying. Cut cord.
Great video. Absolutely great video. Let me give you a bit of dad advice. Genuine dad advice. Learn to say sorry to your kids. If you fuck up, have integrity. And learn, don't be a parent that never says sorry. Don't be that parent. Say sorry to your kids if you mean it. If you have to. All right? That's my dad advice. Great grand thumb. Let's be honest, like, if you're not subscribed to this guy already, like I legit don't know what you're doing. Like he's got the best videos when it comes to weapons, or some of the best. I mean, there's a lot of gun tubers out there, but I feel like he has the the Venn diagram of everything you want in a YouTuber, right? Personality, information, editing, all that stuff, and then right in the middle is Grand Thumb. I think his videos are just absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I feel like you should be over there subscribed if you're not. Link down below. First line in the description. Please go over there. Give him the love he deserves. What do I think? I think I love the SIG Spear. I think it looks good. I was very hesitant on the caliber of the round for the longest time, and now I'm not at all. Like, if anything, I'm actually kind of jealous that the Royal Marines are not getting this round, even though the Royal Marines are getting a really good rifle, right? I just feel like we should have, instead of going, like, you know, it's a big leap ahead of the SA-80, the SR-16, isn't it? A massive leap. But I don't want to just leap to, we've got a really good rifle now. I want to leap to, we have got one of the best, right? And although we do, like, if the US is adopting this caliber, like, it almost feels like we're missing out a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. Grand Thumb, absolutely brilliant. Nothing else to say. Links down below to all the equipment I used to record. Let me know if you want to see more GunTube videos in the future. I'm actually thinking about bringing some gaming videos out in the future as well. Yeah, let me know. Until next time, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.